All right. Hopefully we're live. Looks like we're good. Gonna give it a moment, let people join in. I'm also going to do my usual sharing here. We're gonna take a look at Houdini 22. Heck yeah. All right. Well, that is not the right thumbnail. Let me change that real quick. Can I not change the thumbnail? Oh no. Can you really not change the thumbnail? Oh, don't do that. Don't delete. No. Oh, don't tell me I can't change the thumbnail. Oh no. I don't think it's gonna let me. Oh, what an epic fail. You really can't change. Hold on. Oh, this is awful. Well, that's awkward. I will have to change that afterwards, I guess. Let's pretend that it's the correct thumbnail. That sucks. That surely, hold on. Let me just double check technical difficulties. Let me just double check here. I don't think this is a thing. There might be a possibility. Hold on. Aha! I found it. Awkward. Thank goodness for Google. That's really weird. There's not a setting in the like YouTube live stream thing that shows it. You have to like go into your channel manager. That is super weird. I think we're good now. What's up, everyone? Zach Orchestra. All right. Let's see. Hopefully people start joining up here. Let's go ahead. Let me actually get everything set up the way I want it. All right. That should be good. You guys can hear me okay? Everything right? I had my mic was all messed up when I first was setting this up. Hopefully it's all good. All right. So Houdini 22, if you haven't played around with it, I've played around with it very, very little. It's very quiet, very little quiet. You know, I've been kind of noticing that too. Here, hold on. Let me bump the gain. There you go. Hopefully we're good now. Hopefully. Really interested in height field and cops, to be honest. Performance of cops in 21 wasn't great on my RTX 3090. Well, I also have a RTX 3090, so we'll probably take a look at that. Is it a little bit better now, volume-wise? Hopefully. I was kind of talking away from the mic too, so that might impact it. Oh yeah, the paint cop. I keep forgetting about that. We're definitely going to take a look at that. All right, anyways, let's start off, I guess. The elephant in the room, the new UI. If you guys have not looked at the new UI, there's a lot here. So if you haven't played with it, first of all, preferences, you've got some different things in here. This is where you're going to set your UI scale. This isn't anything new, but you can select this use old UI if you want. You have to change things in here and then restart Houdini if you want to do stuff. I found, so I was on 1.1 UI scale before. I started out with like 1.15, but I bumped it up to 1.2. I feel like the text is a little bit small. Sounds like the way that they were doing the text before was not uniform. And so they've made it all uniform, but in doing so, it seems to be a little bit smaller. So I wish there was a way to up the text size just a little bit, but global UI scale it is. Otherwise, we've got the color themes here, which is new as well. And this is sick. I love this. I've set my own already. First of all, I would click on one of these so that you can kind of see. This is just the presets, but then we get swatches and sliders that we can control stuff with, and we can tweak it as well. These are going to be the colors that you have as your like bases and everything. So there's all sorts of different ones in here. You can literally just click on them. I think this is the default one, maybe. So if you want to look at one, you click on it, you click this little preview button, and then it changes your UI. This also gives you a little UI preview of it, but you can, you know, go through and just click preview on all these. And even when you start to do things here, you'll see it as well. So like if we switch to this purple one, you can see that everything switches over there as well. Pretty cool stuff. I personally started with this OS 12. I really like the colors of this one. A lot of different ones in here. Just super cool stuff. Whoever uses these light themes, you are probably gonna need to get checked out to make sure that you're not a psychopath. Because who uses light anything anymore? But yeah, there's really cool ones in here. This one, I like this one a lot too. This is a very, very nice color scheme. This band t-shirt one, that's that's so funny. This one is super dark. God, it's like a Darth Vader theme. Anyways, let's go back to mine. How did I get to that? So edit color themes and then swatches. Oh yeah. So you've got your swatches here, the sliders, you can control all the colors through there. And then you've got these tweaks that you can do with this as well. So I bumped the contrast on mine. The secondary chroma is things like, if I drop down just a node here. So these, like this color here, if you increase it, it will match closer to this color. So that's the secondary contrast there, or the chroma there. What's up? We've got two Zachs in here. I go by Zach and Zach. Nice. All right. But yeah, so we can play around with literally, like all this stuff is super customizable. And then you can play around with like the inversion of the toggles. You can just customize so much. This is kind of hard to see what some of this stuff does. That's one's pretty apparent. But yeah, play around with it. There's you can customize it. You can click on these and click duplicate, reveal file. I don't know. That's probably going to be like the actual code of it, I guess. You can edit your info, whatever you need to do. Been playing with the KTT, and the creator has said it'll stay SOP based. Yeah, I saw that as well. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably play around with the cops terrain stuff a little bit, but the KTT stuff looks pretty interesting. You could use cops to texture. Yeah, yeah. So they're compatible. So they're just like they plug in just like regular Houdini nodes. I should pull up the side effects documentation, or like the what's new. Where is? Ooh, the quadri mesh got an update too. God, there's so much. There's just always so much. Obviously, we're gonna take a look at cops because I love cops. All right, let's just jump into a copnet. Before we do that, actually, there's one other thing with the UI that I wanted to just show. Let me just prop down like a rubber toy. So this obviously, I don't know. Personally, in my opinion, the UI makes it seem like everything's new. So it's kind of hard to tell like what's new. I don't know. It just seems so overwhelming. Just because everything looks so new. Is this button new? No, that's a new icon, isn't it? That is a new icon. So yeah, everything just seems new because everything looks different, but I guess you'll kind of get used to it. But one thing that is new is the geometry spreadsheet. So we got some new stuff here. This has been updated. So you can see that we now have this little section right here, which conveniently with the new USD stuff now shows like your paths, like your USD tree, which is pretty cool. So we've got this. This is also new, the way that this is kind of displayed. So you can actually come in here. If you notice that we've got these colors here. So if you come in this geometry spreadsheet, we can come to colors, and then we've got some different things. So by default, it's set to white. You can set it to alternating gray. You can also set it to rainbow, which is pretty cool, or this new attribute type one, which I think is probably what I'm going to stick with. I think that's pretty nice. I think that's a very nice update to the spreadsheet. So, play around with that. There's lots of different colors that pop up. So like if we do this one, so we've got a float here. So that's what it sets to for that. Integers, they seem to be the same color. Strings, we've got different colors for those. Cool stuff. I don't know. I think it's a very nice update to the geometry spreadsheet. This is going to be a lot of fun. We'll play around with the USD stuff, but I'm glad that we have the ability to look at this. You can make this go away, and this is just like what you had before as well, so you don't have to have this, pulled up. You can see your attribute in SOPs directly in COPS. I haven't played around with that. Everything's like specific, like this changes, right? When you start to work with stuff. When does the quad remesher not get an update? Yes, the quad remesher has been getting updates. Still in beta though, right? So I guess, well, Alex is here. Let's take a look at this fractal sample node. Alex is the one that built this. So it's going to take something to start off with. So we'll just give it an SDF shape. And some of these, I think, take a little bit of time to drop down off the start, just because it's got to rebuild like kernels and stuff. I did notice that. So we can plop this into this fractal sample and we get some stuff going on here. Shape. Hey, you guys made my SDF setup recipe into a actual official recipe. Heck yeah. Nice. Here, we'll wire this in. Look at that. That was like one of the first things I did with recipes. You guys are just stealing all my recipes, all my ideas. I'm just kidding. So this one's super cool. I haven't played around with it that much, but we're just seeing what they did in the keynote is this is gonna be a super powerful node. I'll have to play around with it quite a bit. So you got different octaves here. So this controls like the back, like how many times it's like being done in the background. Yeah, copy and transform, time shift, FCF setup. It's just hey, anything to make the software better, right? I don't have a problem with that. Because like the thing about those things is like you make tools, right? And you can distribute them or whatever, but like if other people don't have them, then it's not like doing tutorials and stuff is you can kind of lose people a little bit with that. So having everything just in there is nice in its own right. Only come to my streams for ideas to steal. But yeah, this turns anything into a fractal. This is super cool. So this roughness, you can kind of see what this does. And this is obviously not the best idea, but you can get almost like some, what am I thinking of? Like L systems, like some of that type of stuff going on here. But super cool. Let's set that back there. Let's go back to 1K. So like I said, I haven't played around with this a ton. Offset with bias. Ooh, so you can kind of get like stuff inside of your shape. That's kind of cool. Then you can do like blend modes, which this maximum is probably going to be what we're going to use most of the time. And then this also tiles. There's maybe it's not this node. There's like a tile button. Oh yeah, maintain tileable right here. So without that checked on, doesn't break in this instance. Doesn't look like, but I leave that on. What's up, Fractaler? Welcome. So this jitter confused me a little bit. Like I feel like this should be, I don't know. It felt like it should be more of like a amount, like a variance type of thing, but it's just a raw amount. I don't know. Obviously, this is probably not the best example shape for this. I'm gonna have to play around with it more. I was trying to feed in. You can feed in whatever you want. There's also new like test images in the. I think they're in the file node. No. Okay. Oh, clone. Interesting. I think there is. Oh, so they're in the tab menu. Are they called like test images? Oh, they are. Nice. Magnolias. Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay, well that's interesting. I guess this didn't fix. So I had some troubles with installs. Are all these going to be broken? They are going to be broken. All right. Well, I guess we're not going to take a look at those. I didn't install through the launcher. Maybe that's my problem. I guess. I don't know. That's weird. How do I deal? So I got that. I got that SHFS error when I first downloaded it, and then because I used a legacy installer, and then I was getting that error along with the error when you like. There's another error that pops up if the little like start menu, I guess you want to call it, pops up, and then it's went away when I updated my launcher, both of them, and I got the start menu thing to pop up, but it seems like that's not a full fix. Yeah, you don't install Houdini. Maybe we need to use the launcher. This is how they force us into the launchers so that we can have to use these test images so we can have access to all the SHFS stuff. But this is cool though. So we've got like the rubber toys, right? Also, we've got new colors and shapes and stuff, or not necessarily colors, but shapes. We've also got attributes now that we have in cops. So I want to take a look at that too. But test geometry directly in here. So we don't have to do any sort of rasterization here. Oh, it's an SDF too. I didn't realize that. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Oh, also the Pyro got a huge update. If we do Pyro like configure, let me just drop down one of these real quick. I'm not going to look at this because there's a lot to this, but I wanted to just point out that there is updates to the Pyro solver in cops. You can install Side Effects Labs when you install through the legacy installer. You don't have to use the launcher for that. And this is what I'm talking about with the OpenCL compiling some of these kernels. I uninstalled and reinstalled, so I think I'm having to rebuild some of this stuff. You can I don't ever update it, to be honest with you. I literally just install it and call it good. I don't use that much lab stuff, although you do more stuff with games, I think. All right, so just looking at this, so these things have kind of changed. They've all been reworked. So if you drop down this Pyro configure fire in 21, it's not going to look the same as this. And you've got a lot of stuff is just kind of like built in to this, and you've got your little cables and you're plugged in through your ears and stuff over here. But yeah, I just wanted to take a detour on that. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense if you're doing that with games. Oh yeah, so there's a bunch of new grunges as well. Lots of cool stuff with those. We'll look at the terrain stuff. There was the attributes. So we've got like this attribute extract, attribute insert. Looks like that one's missing an icon too, Alex. Way to go. Does this have any attributes on it? Just the normals, huh? So we can take these. Oh, that was insert. Although, wait, hold on. You said there was a geo2 attribute. Or was it layer, geometry attribute from layer? Geometry attribute. So we have to give this an attribute. We just have to tell it like this, what, n? So can we use this? Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Geo attribute from layer. So yeah, that's what I was just saying. I was gonna think we have to wire in like I'm kind of like mixing up a couple of these. Let's not put in, well, actually we could look at this. This should be a 3D, right? Yeah, ooh, this is cool. So we can do attribute manipulation directly on stuff. This is cool. This is pretty cool. So you could do like velocities, right? You could do velocities through cops now. Very interesting. I like this. I like this a lot. Very cool. Smoke. All right, hold on. Pluggy dealer you were talking about in the other streams. Some cryptic. Oh, what he was talking about was this thing, which I still don't know exactly how this works. How does this work? Right, we have to duplicate this. 3D output. You can do this node with like 4 attribute nodes. You can do this node with like 4 attribute nodes. Oh yeah. Why would you want to do this with a bunch of different attribute nodes? I figured as much that you could, but it seems like a pain in the butt. Okay, get your geometry and put the 3D output flag on it, and get any cop and display flag on it. So so we don't need the split view, right? That's what you're saying? Aha! Let's turn off these. Gotcha. So haha. That's handy. That is going to be handy. Is this a viewport bug? This looks like a bug. I don't think this should be black like this, right? Is it just that? That means we set it to mono. Is that a bug? It's my normals. Oh, I set it to N. That's right. You're right. That makes more sense. Sorry, I forgot I set that to normal. All right. Let's see. Attribute. So we've got attribute extract, so we can take attributes from this. It should be a vector attribute, right? I still have our 3D flag. Whoops. 3D flag sled. So, all right. So you can put your geo at the beginning of your network with the 3D output flag on and then display at any time in geometry. Yeah, without using the preview material. Yeah, for sure. That's super nice to be able to do. So we have nothing. So this would be layer from attribute. Is this still a thing? Was this in there? All right, hold on. Can you explain? Okay, never mind. So these squares are the geos, and then attributes also have the square, but it's like a checkerboard pattern. Interesting. And then this just writes into, because we only have however many points this is, 128873, we only write into part of these. So I would assume if I subdivided this, I would get more. Click resize layer. Resize layer. Aha. Interesting. Yes, definitely visualizes better. So does this change the actual resolution? It does. Aha. Very cool. Interesting. What other attribute stuff is there? So I don't know. This is definitely setting the stage for being able to do a lot of different things inside of cops. Yeah, we'll be able to. I'm guessing we're gonna move towards and start seeing some more solver stuff and sort of inside of cops. They're kind of getting this stuff ready, so we can. They'll probably I don't know. I'm guessing we'll be able to port like pops and stuff over to cops and do all sorts of interesting stuff. All right. Well, let's just get rid of this. We'll tackle the other elephant in the room. The other couple elephants. The ripple block. Let's do a fractal noise. Let's I want to like clamp this. Let's do a remap. So the ripple solver, you feed it stuff and then it kind of creates these ripples out of it. Hey. All right. That's not what I was trying to do. I wanted to create these little blobs. But yeah, we can get these kind of like ripples on things. It'd be a little bit better if you oh, that's new? You're right, that is new. Good point. I forgot that wasn't a thing. So can't dive inside of it. Yeah, so before I had created, I think I had made a recipe for this because you could use like the, why am I drawing a blank on so many things? There was like an info node that would give you the like min and max equalize. No, was it equalize? That's not what I was thinking. Statistics. The statistics would give you, I think. Statistics. Yeah, the statistics gives you a min and max, and then you could just wire that into the remaps to get the input min and max. Did they expose? Were these exposed before? Was all this exposed before? I don't think is ramp new? I don't remember ramp being on this. That's new. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That looks new. I didn't remember that. These are interesting. New look with the UI. Interesting stuff. But yeah, so you've got this ripple solver, and then let's break out our rubber toy and do the adjacency stuff. Geometry 2 adjacency. 1 warning generated. I hate that it tells you that there's a warning generated, but doesn't tell you what it is. So then we can wire that in here. Let's set our new 3D flag back. And then let me set this higher so it's a little bit brighter. So we can play, and then we get this moving. Well, it's supposed to move along the seams. Is it moving along the seams? I guess these aren't really seams. These are actual like different geometry, but it kind of works, I guess. Or no, it doesn't. I don't know. Rubber toy is separate parts of geo. Yeah, I was gonna say that was what I was thinking. Because those are separate parts. All right, so we'll set our display flag here. And like the mouth is separate, I think, or like I know that the bottom is. I think we still got some issue there because this is not, this pig head's not UV'd very well. But either way, still pretty cool. Roberto wants to float on the ripples. I don't know that we can do that quickly. What else should I take a look at? Is there anything you guys want to look at? There's a lot. There's a lot to take a look at. There's a lot of stuff in the geometry. This point merge is new. I don't know. I haven't looked at this really yet. But there is, actually, can we merge both of these? Haha. What is this going to do? What does this look like? Ooh. Nice. I'm not sure yet what that's going to be useful for, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. Is resizing the windows kind of stuttery? Yeah. I think this is somewhat a thing that just kind of happens with Qt. So this is all Qt based. All the UI is now. So I think that might be just some of that that's going on. I don't know if you can get around that or not. Can't rename those. Or can you? No, it doesn't look like you can. Pixel align cap. I saw that in there and I don't know. Ooh, is this pixelate cap new? Sorry, got distracted. Fractal, sure. Is this new? No, I don't think it is. I think we had that in the last one. All right, pixel align. Align pixels. I don't know what this does. Pixelate with H1, yeah. When you first open the color selector, it took a couple seconds. I think it did for me as well. I don't know. What does this do? I'd have to check the docs. Align pixels. Whoops. Just a layer to align pixel-wise with another layer object. Or with another layer. Snap to the grid of a reference layer. Be an integer number of pixels seconds. I don't know why I'm having trouble visualizing what this is going to do. So notice first is a snap layer into the pixel grid of the reference layer. Well, problem number one, we need a reference layer. Reading documentation before taking a flight. Can I get my hand on it? All right, so we need some other image here. Well, that did something. 512. These are 1024. I don't know. This probably makes no sense what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what exactly this is doing. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Oops. So, like, if you had a camera transform, like, I think this is what, maybe not the transform 2D. Let's move this around. So, like, if you have this, yeah, it's going to move it. It's going to align them in space, right? I think. 0.5, 0.5. Yeah, so we set to max. So if we set to none, recenter it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So that's what it's going to do. So like if you're trying to, because sometimes you have like cameras that are in, you're like projecting off of like your camera and camera space in here. And so like your camera, I'm trying to remember. So like you'll have something like showing over here, like your layer will be like over here or something. This is where it's going to do that. It'll like move it to where it's kind of aligning properly. Yeah, like the match size. Kind of though. It seems a little bit different functionality here. But yeah, that's kind of what that is going to be for. It seems. What else? What else we got here? What was the other thing? All right, well there's let's just do like let's do a font, right? Here. Here, we got a star glow node. There you go, Alex. So a typical compositing node, right? Star glow, definitely something that we need. This is not going to work very well just on the font. But yeah, star glow. Definitely needed for any sort of compositing stuff. Streak weight. Interesting. So many controls. Ooh, I forgot about this. The color picker. Production ready, Stargo. Turn on the color ramp. Turn on the color ramp. Ramp. Nice. But this is new too. So we've got temperature. We've got all sorts of different things. Color harmony. We've got color harmony. Where's Zach? Zach was so hyped about this. Heck yeah. This is a lovely new UI. This is great. I don't. Oh, we can color pick from an image. Ooh, that's cool. Directly inside of your thing. Oh, I love that. That's nice. And it's color picking with your aces. Pick an aces CG. Love this. Yes. Yes. This is fantastic. All right. You can do the classic prices right studio lighting effects easily. Points from blobs looks fun. I saw this in the documentation. I don't know what this means. Where did this one? Yeah. So like we've got these little points of contrast and it's creating little point clouds from them. This will be interesting. This will be interesting for like scattering on height fields. I think like scattering trees and stuff. Don't forget to Control S in the chat. I'm just working on this non-save thing. I don't want to look at any of the ML stuff right now. I think you're gonna have to download some stuff for that. And honestly, I haven't really looked too much at that. There's lots of new grunges. Lots of new grunges. Rusty surface. Love this. I think these are all just like nodes that, yeah. So you can look and see how these are all built. Super cool. What else is there? Wipe trails. I think I looked at this one. I think. Oh no, I didn't look at this one. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, like streaks on windows. Very cool. What happens if we plug this into like the fractal sample? Everything into the fractal sample. Moisture grunge. Oh, the moisture grunge uses it? Okay, hold on. I figured this would work a little differently. I guess you're kind of getting in there. I don't know. Adjust my bias in here. Yeah, I'm still getting used to how to all manipulate this. Because like roughness kind of does some of that, and so does octaves. Like kind of brings in those background ones. Very interesting. You said the moisture grunge does? Ooh, interesting. This looks like right where the fractal comes into play. Oh, yo. That is cool. That is super cool. This is a great grunge. I like this. Oh, yeah. This is a beautiful grunge. Calculate creation of points, islands. That is alive. Yeah, this is a sick grunge texture. Where fractal sample, there you are. Uses it a couple times. Lots of custom OpenCL stuff in these. Flip, distort. Very cool. There's you guys have, I've noticed this whole like post-processing thing is always like this OpenCL thing. Why don't you guys just make this into a freaking like node itself? Because I've noticed this in a bunch of them. That there's a post-process node that's just this OpenCL node. I think they're like all the same. I could be wrong on that. But it does all the post-processing stuff. Why don't you just make a post-process node? That way you guys don't have to keep doing that. All right. All right. I do want to take a look at the height field stuff. Ooh, there's the caustics too. Okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Mono. Oh, wait a minute. This is just like layer properties, isn't it? So if we take this. All right, have a good night, Alex. Thanks for hanging out. I'm enjoying all the new stuff that you're making. Don't forget to add your icons to your nodes. So height, mono to height field. This is super noisy. That's not how that works. Whoops. Let's not do that. Let's do this. Isn't this just a layer property? No, it's not a layer properties. How do the height fields work? I thought it was going to be... Oh, height field noise. I feel like there should be just like a height field. I feel like this isn't displaying the way it should. Why are we in... Why are we in this orientation? What am I doing wrong here, guys? Should set this like 1K. This doesn't even seem like... Do we have to wire it into the height field visualize? Like, surely not, right? No, even this, what? Maybe I'm just tired. Hold on, what does the doc say for this? Creates a layer. This is just a layer, yeah. So This does not work the way, this is not as intuitive as I thought it would be. Height field 2 geometry. High field to mono. I feel like there should be some sort of like resolution. Like we have like this. These are height field nodes, but I guess this is just fractal noise. Man, lots of nodes are missing those icons. That layer properties. Copy node, missing one too. Yeah, what? This should just be height. I feel so stupid right now. I don't even remember how I did this before in 21. What's the doohickey called that fixes your UVs? Are you talking about like the adjacency rasterization stuff? High field, flow field. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly these work in 22. In 21, they were just like, you had to rasterize it. And then you did like the preview, the height field preview or whatever, height field visualize. This does look cool, this flow field thing. If only I could get this to actually work the way it's supposed to. The UI does look totally different. You get used to it. It's kind of overwhelming at first, but I'm somewhat used to it at this point, and I haven't been using it all that long. So you had to use the height field visualize before, which turned it into like a height field, but this just doesn't feel right. That's not right. So do we have to like transform this? Which one is it? Is this really how we have to work? I don't think this is right. Something feels off here. I'm doing something wrong. This should be... Hold on. It's because I set something. Surely it's not because I set something there. Yeah, no, it's not. Wasn't there a road? Oh yeah, there isn't a road there. So these height field nodes are supposed to be set with like these things in mind. This doesn't even look like Houdini. It is definitely different. These height field, I am somewhat confused because this doesn't feel like what it should be. This is not a high enough resolution. I touched on the UI a little bit. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. First of all, preferences. If you want to turn this back, you can go to the use old UI. I set my global UI scale to 1.2 now. I had it on 1.1 and 21. There's also the color themes. in here. If you click on these presets, will be on default. Swatches gives you access to actual colors, and then you've got tweaks here that you can use to actually customize everything. And this is an example of what everything's going to look like. But you can click on these, like look at the different ones, and then you can click preview and see what it looks like in your actual like UI. Yeah, there's some really crazy ones. Night Orchid. Oof. This one's super dark. Super, super dark. But yeah, you can customize so much of it. This just doesn't seem right, though. I feel like... Right? This should be... I don't know. This is like a more the normal scale of... height fields, or 500, I guess. There you go. Is that what you're really supposed to do? Oh, that is not cool if that's what you're supposed to be doing to get this set up to start. That is terrible. If you're going to have a height field node, this height field, when you drop that down, should have this all set up by default so that it sets it to a how you want it. And is this even showing right? Yeah, this is Y up. I feel like this is like inverted. Not full, but complement. This is what I would expect. This seems like backwards. I wish Zach was in here. He played around with this quite a bit. Tell me if I'm being stupid. But this doesn't seem like this is how this should be. If this is right, ew. Big time ew. This is not an intuitive setup, especially when you have a layer called height field. This or a recipe called height field, which is literally just a layer with this set. I don't like this. And then this is showing the wrong way. This should be the complement. Like yeah, I don't know, man. I hope that's not right. Oh, that is not. And like the F key doesn't work. I should be able to... I shouldn't have to like zoom out like manually like that. I gotta be doing something wrong. Yeah, the gizmo did change too, didn't it? H key. Okay, H key I guess works. I always use F. But this still is like wrong. Like if I go to... It's different in cops. I guess I never realized that. Like this is what we should be getting with high field noise, not this. This is inverted. This is wrong. This is totally wrong. Frame selected should frame selected. I agree. Because this is like backwards. Because this is not Y up. This is Y down. I shouldn't have to complement this. Yeah, you could use that as well. I guess maybe okay, that was my fault, I guess. negative 90. So I'm being stupid there. But again, that is something that should be all handled by this. You should be able to drop down a height field node, and this is what you get. This is bad design. They need to change that. The height field should not, it should drop you down a height field so it looks like height fields. This is what the whole thing was. This is why these were made, these height field. This is just a fractal noise, right? But all of the settings are set so that it is more akin to what height field values would be set. So this is not good design, in my opinion. Something wrong on the cops node shell? No, I don't think so. I don't know what you're meaning by that. I just had this flipped incorrectly. I rotated it by 90 degrees. It should be negative 90. Yeah, the original. So yeah, this is just a layer. Like you have to drop down. Like this is what you get. If I look at this, right? All right, well now it's not even working. Frame selected. Your H key doesn't work. All right, just gross. There we go. So the reset viewport still is a thing. But yes, this is what you get by default. And like, I just no. Like this is not good. Drop in the height field. You should get a height field and a height field transform if this is how we want to handle things. And the F key does work, by the way. It was just my viewport was bugged. Is the thinking that in cops the primary intention is texture creation, so everything defaults to the standard UV space? Yes, kind of. I mean, cops primarily falls in the -1 to 1 space. So, I mean, I guess, but still, like, this should be set up properly. Anyways, let's look at the rest of the height field stuff. That took me way too long to to figure out. Importing no. Yeah, the reset viewport issue annoys me to no end too. It needs to just at this point it needs to be a button like right here instead of this in here. Like just put it on the UI if you're gonna not have to if you're not gonna fix the stuff. Anyways, so importing presets, recipes, and shelves into the new version, you can just like the shelves and stuff, you just put it in your preferences, not your preferences, but like the in your documents. If you're on Windows, like your documents folder, you can put them into their respective things, like the OTLs. You just bring over your OTLs as long as you have the proper folders set up, then it should work fine. Although I'm not sure if all of them are going to work. Like shelves may not work with all the new UI. Yeah, it would annoy us more if it wasn't there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It would. Good. Yeah, it should be like a hotkey or something. This is kind of hard too. Isn't there a HF? There's like a light thing now, isn't there? What do these lights do? No, that's gonna be for like cops, I think. Or pyro, I mean, cops. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. How is that height field erode? I really am not a huge fan of Houdini's height field tools. I struggle so much to get decent looking results out of this, out of their erosion models. Although, like, this is already looking better than the default stuff. the erosion or the height field tools are super nice for games. Like the tools themselves and like the thought process of the way Houdini works is awesome. However, I feel like the KTT tools are something that's like needed to make it workable inside of Houdini. So I don't really do anything. This is probably better even afterwards. I hate that sometimes you can't get nodes to disconnect and then they reconnect. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff about Houdini and height fields, but I don't know. Let's look real quick at these USD stuff here. Let me just delete these out for the moment. This is actually something that is pretty sweet, and I like a lot. This USD create components. So sometimes they aren't as impressive looking. Yeah, I don't really like. I just don't like the erosion model that Houdini has. I struggle to get good results out of it. And also it's missing some things like the color erosion. I think that's a big deal. I think that's something you should have in there. But it's so easy to get stuff that looks good out of like Gaia or even like I think KTT tools would be easier to get stuff out of. So, all right, we got this USD. So there's a bunch of USD stuff now. So USD create components, create proxy geometry. So you can just wire this in and then you get this in here. So by default, it's set to a box. You can set it to the convex hull, or you can create your own. So if we wanted to drop down like a remesh, let's set this. I'm gonna set this up just because this always is a pain in the butt. I don't know, whatever, right? So you can wire this into the proxy and you get this, and then you have this in here. By default, this sets to OS, so you can set this to like rubber toy. And then you've got your geo and you got your render and your proxy in here. The UV, the adjacency, rasterize the adjacency tools. There's a bunch of different adjacency nodes. Yeah, so you can control everything in here. So this will be nice for just setting this up. So like, if I just load this in here, all right, we've got this stop create with the mesh here. So I wonder if I have this already set up here. So it kind of does. So you'd still want to, It's not really how this was intended to be used, but you can certainly use it in this manner. So if we just did like this, yeah, then you get stuff like this. Or you can put it under like geo or whatever. Or we can come in here. Or I guess now we're not going to be able to change the initial path. You can even change your visibility here. Very interesting. So that's your sem proxy, and then this is subcomponents. So you can like chain these together. as well. Yeah, so you can put sub components in there. Interesting stuff. I like the way that it's all displayed in here as well. This is super nice. Oh yeah, Taylor, if you're still here, I didn't. So this has been fully reworked as well. The geometry spreadsheet got a lot of love. So if you click on this little button here, you can get colors, and you can change. By default, it's gonna be set to white for your attribute types. You can change that. We've got alternating gray. We've got rainbow, and we've also got by attribute type, which I think is probably the best one. So I'm gonna leave it on that one. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, you get colors in the geometry spreadsheet. Super nice. Makes it a lot more readable. No more like looking at the groupings and like having to look for your NX and see where it ends and where it starts. Yeah, so like if I create something else, like so it's just given a different color. So like vectors here. You also do like rainbow, just gives it all, so they're all kind of like separated, and you can control the rainbow like amount. But yes, the attribute type just depends on whatever type of attribute it is. So like strings are like orange. But it's cool stuff. Even the symbols, yeah, the symbols. I subconsciously noticed those, but didn't like think about that. Yeah, there are the little stuff. So much more readable, 100%. Yeah. I crashed right screen of doom. I wonder if the colors match what you see when writing vex in a wrangle. Not sure what you mean. Maybe like is that what you're meaning? Does not match. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what you mean. You can change these colors, by the way, somewhere. Preferences, scripting, syntax colors. I didn't know this was a thing, but you can change the colors. You can change all this. Kind of like that, to be honest. I also kind of don't. I'm not colorblind. But yeah, you can change all of these if you want. Fruit salad. I like your vectors pink. I'm gonna keep that statuses. Colors seem to mean different things. Do you get white screens of white screens of doom? Yeah, every time I drop down this remesh and I forget to change the freaking size from the target size of 0.02 or 0.2 or whatever it is. Freezes up your Houdini. You should be able to color screens of doom. What else should we look at? Cellular. I said I wasn't going to look at any of the neural nodes. This one intrigued me. I thought I didn't have this shared Houdini file stuff. So you can make your own things with this. I'm gonna have to play around with this. Probably not right now, but I forgot about this. Cellular automata and stuff. What is there stuff that you guys want to look at? I'm just kind of scrolling back through. Moj is pretty small, 600 megabytes. I don't want to get too much into the machine learning stuff right now. Paint us a pic. Oh. Yeah. Screw everything. Let's paint. I keep forgetting about the paint cop. Here. All right. Well, I mean, we were just kind of looking at that. These are the USD. I mean, I think these create subcomponents. This is just a create component with it set to subcomponent. That's kind of just what all this is. Configure import. I mean, this, I don't remember what all is new, but like this is kind of the new, what is new, I feel like. Was there a node in particular? I know Zach did some stuff earlier he posted about. Sorry, in Discord. I'm just scrolling back up. Because that was one of the things that he wanted to look at too. What's the instances node? Sorry, USD point instant. Oh, that's an import, isn't it? Point instance or import, yeah. So, I mean, basically you could do whatever you want like this. OS, we get you just got a lot of the different settings. So your scope or transforms, you've got subcomponents and components. So we can make this we could make something like a pig head or whatever, like a subcomponent of this, right? I think. Let's do a subcomponent. Yeah, so like you can just daisy chain these along, I guess, and just keep creating stuff on top of each other. And then like you could have a bunch of these remesh nodes in there. Oops, let me not do that. There we go. You can even change like which one shows up in here. That's actually something I wanted to look at though. Can we change that in here? What's being displayed? I don't know what that does. Unpack path. So it doesn't seem like you can change what's being displayed in your viewport like you can with Solaris. Can you change it in here somewhere? Doesn't seem like there's a way to change it in here. Like in here, we can trying to remember where it's at. Do we have to do it through here? I don't remember. It's not something. Oh yeah, purpose. We can edit that. Is it purpose? It's not the purpose, is it? That's not what I was thinking of. I don't know. My brain's shutting down. You can change this to show the proxy or the render. I'm drawing a blank. Okay. I'm drawing a blank on how to do this. Purpose, default. Maybe it is this. I don't know. I can't remember how we change that at this moment. Either way. Just spending some time this week and exploring some of the new features. Yeah. For sure. All right, let's look at the paint. UVGO. Canvas. Do we have to... Okay. Okay, so it takes a second to create the layer. But then we can color on everything. This is nice. Control Shift and... Okay, so that resizes. So is mouse wheel. T. Ooh, all right. So we've got screen space and surface alignment. 2D paint node. Oh, that's cool. So we can paint directly. Awesome. So F toggles that. Mask visualization. I don't know what that means. Classic tablet controls, yeah. Ooh, shift and all right, shift and click smooths it. Doesn't really look. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Control click erases, so that takes a second too. Control and middle mouse button fills. Oh Lord, okay. Is there like a swap? Ooh, sample. There's a sample node or a sample thing. Okay, hold on. Control click. So we can sample a color with 4. And then we can paint. Aha. So if I set this to pink, is there a flow? Yeah, there's a flow. It would be nice if we could control the flow and the opacity with some sort of hotkey. Oh, sample is middle mouse button anyways. So, okay. So you have to do it like twice. Interesting. Oh, swap foreground and background is X. Nice, nice. Nice wrench. Kind of did look like a wrench, didn't it? So it'd be nice if we could control the flow with some sort of hotkey. Oh, we've got brush presets. Oh, that's cool. All right. Apply on select. Okay, so that just pops out brush stroke presets. We've got none. Okay. Let me turn that flow back up. Let me just erase a whole bunch. All right, now I can paint. Interesting. Yeah, I'm really glad they have this in cops now as well. It's gonna be nice. We can control the resolution of individual layers. That's interesting. Data type. So we can paint. Okay, so this outputs as a. Okay, this is actually super interesting. So the layers output as a cable. So we've got, if we cable unpack this, we can. So this is our layer 0. Ooh, layer alpha. Hold on. Interesting. So we can output these as like masks. So if I add another layer in here, is that what this does? That is what this does. Okay. And then I pick a different color. Sure. Paint some more. Go back to this. Okay, so we've got another layer. My mouse is not wanting to cooperate. It's like breaking. Yes, you can install 22. It has been out for a little over 12 hours now, 13 hours. Okay, this is cool. So we can then use these. So you could paint these as masks and then you could do like a fractal or something. Like, I don't know. Or like a, I don't know, reaction diffusion. That was really bad. I have not messed around with the reaction diffusion nearly enough. There we go. So we could do something like this, right? And then we can, which I forgot to look at earlier, we can do a time shift, which is also missing its icon. Alex knows about that. Hopefully he fixes it tomorrow. And then we can shift from, this should be by frame. This one looks a little bit different. Okay, hold on. Time loop, time shift, time pack, time blend. What's time blend? Hold first frame. Is this what I'm like looking for? Turn that off. Okay, so this. Delete channels. Let's set this to, what does that do? Interesting. Shift from, okay, so we just set this to custom. All right. And then you can set this to like frame 66. And then this is like a hold. Okay. Interesting. Now we're going to have a drawing cops desktop layout. Yeah, right. Okay, so time shift we set to custom, and then we can lock it on a frame. And then with this, we can multiply this by our alpha. Bam. And then if you didn't see this either, Taylor, I don't know if you were here for this. You can just set this new flag here, and you can output your 3D geo in your viewport, and you can preview whatever you want on your actual geo itself without having to set up like the preview geo. So this is exactly what I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do with this cop, the paint cop, is to be able to use it to drive like masks and stuff. We can paint around masks super easily. So this is cool. Flow dynamics. Oh, shoot. Does this have... Okay. This has full-on support for tablets, it looks like. Interesting. What is this group? And what is this? So if I have like a fractal... Well, this is weird. Okay, why is this... Oh, because I had that output there. Okay. So we can have like a default image as our background, and then we can paint over that. Oh, you totally can. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we have we can start with something. Yeah, their fractal became the canvas. Or became like your, not really the canvas, but like the base layer. So you can take that. So if I wanted to, right, I could take this. Let's change this to RGB. And then actually, you know what? Nope, screw that. Hold on, we're going to get real cool with it. Let's take a fractal noise. Let's take a flow solver. Come on. I got to rebake some kernels. This is the first time I've used it since I've installed. Temperature, and then our mono to RGB. Always wire in any mono channels into an RGB node before popping them into a flow block so that you can see them nicely. All right, so now we've got this. Let's take this time shift, right? All right, and here, frame 66, whatever that works. And then remap. No, we need a this should be outputting. Should be outputting an RGB. RGBA to mono. And then I can do a mono to RGB again. And then, oh, I forgot about this too. Here, I totally forgot about this. Let me pop this out so we can actually see this. Have you tried Karma render speed and what the viewport reset gate? Is it finally gone from our daily routine? I'm not sure. With like changing things in cops. Look at this though. Haha, I forgot about this. We've got our own oh, ramp generator. What? Click and drag to draw. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. But we've got this, which has a whole bunch of different things in it. Heck yeah. All right, let's click on this one. Sure, that looks cool. I forgot about that. We've got our own like little set of ramps there. Ramp library. All right, so now we can take this into our paint node. Use this as our background. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to delete this. Let me just delete them all, I guess. I'll create a new layer. And then you press enter to enter your viewer state. And then I can sample a color, which was middle mouse button. I can just like paint on. I can turn down my flow. Let me turn down my flow. You can just keep sampling. Oh, this is so nice. Whatever, you know? So you could just paint out like however you wanted. Is there a stabilizer? I'm not sure what you mean. This is cool. This is super cool. So you can use that as your background. You could paint out like your seams, right? Obviously, wouldn't do that here in this particular case, but you could do that. When drawing a line, it stabilizes it or not shaky. There is you mean like a sort of like a lazy mouse type thing? Oh, there's even symmetry. Reflection. Interesting. There's symmetry as well. So there's this stroke spacing. I don't know. I don't think there's like a lazy mouse. Please try karma speed. I don't really have anything in particular to render, but there's also this texture material library, which is like using a cops thing. So here, let's just, let me just take this flow output. So this texture material library is basically like a quick material cop or lop in combination with like a material library lop. So we've got this material cop here. It's in our actual tree under our materials. We can call that kind of whatever we want. But we can assign this to our rubber toy. Get this Karma XPU. We've still got our pig head in there. Forgot about this. All right. So my kernels are out of date, so that's gonna kind of throw things off just a little bit. Let's put down a environment light and a camera. Let me just throw this in here. Let's get a texture. Let me grab something. There we go. Background, we've got dark gray. Let's turn that off. Let's turn off our ortho grid as well. So it's I would have to recompile my kernels, I guess. It's trying to compile them right now. which is probably going to take a little bit longer because I am streaming. Let's give it a second here. But like you can change things here. Let me pin this. So like I could change something in here. Let's say like the metalness. And you no longer have to, you shouldn't have to like restart the render. If that, like, I think before you would have to restart your render in order to get some of these things to apply. Or if I like did a, can do a fractal noise here. Let's crank up some of these settings here. I want to do like a remap, I guess. Remap. I want this. This is kind of what I'm looking for. There you go. So we get some metalness in here. Yeah, so like that updated right away. We don't have to wait for it. We don't have to like restart or render, which is good. Looks like everything's compiled now. So yeah, I mean, it's snappy, you know. Super quick. All right, sorry, I missed a couple things. So you can paint a height map, which seems to work out. So it's a pseudo sculpt. Yeah, kind of. You could do that. So yes, texture material library. You can do multiple of these as well too. So you could create another, like all you have to do is just add another like USD material. And then let's say we wanted to make this one just like, I don't know, some pink color with a roughness like this, right? We can add another one and then we can uncheck that one and then make sure that we select our USD material 2. Geometry primitives, if we just drag in that rubber toy in there. Boom. We've got that. So it's a good way to be able to test out multiple things in cops if you're building stuff in cops without having to we've still got the, what did I say? The material, quick surface material. We still have this, right? Which you can use, but like if you want to create like if you want to use a cop texture for this, you have to create like one for each one of these things versus like this texture material library. We have all these settings kind of exposed to us, which actually this USD material thing, we have like this drop down here, which I'm assuming you can make your own because this is just a USD file. You can open this up. This is just stored in your Houdini stuff. So you could create like your quick surface, like you can even, if I want to, I can go into a reference or let's do a sublayer. So I can just sublayer that in and like you can see that we've got like the quick cloud material, the open PBR surface, the quick surface material, and then like the node graphs in here. Like if we did an edit material network, we could load this up probably. It'll take a second to load up. All right, well, it didn't like that. But we have this, and all this is just like exposed. Like, so you can kind of do this yourself. These are just prim vars. Base color, yeah, base color file. Yeah, so like you could build out one of these yourself. It'd kind of be a pain in the butt, I would think. But ugh. God. This is just gross. But you could do it. You could make your own. The triplanar option is nice. Right there in the what do you mean? Zach, you're back. I didn't realize it was you. Hey, where you been, man? We needed your help with the height fields. We were struggling for a hot minute. All right, hold on. While you're here, let's take a detour back to this. Okay, scroll down in the library node. Hold on. On this, in the library node, scroll down. It's towards the bottom in the library node. Inside the library node. So like this. This. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. Hold on. Please hold. Let's go back to this one. Triplanar. Oh, I like this. That is nice. Sorry, I gotta recompile. That's why we're all messed up. Triplanar blend. I feel like we're missing a setting here for the size. But very cool. But I do feel like we're missing that setting for the size. All right, that's right in the interface stuff. Size, yeah, size should be in there somewhere. Because, like, that's just the triplanar. Yeah, we should have a scale. Actually, we should have a scale and a rotate. I'm not sure why they didn't include those. And this isn't something you can dive inside of either. So that's weird. All right. Help us out here. You played around with the height fields quite a bit. To set up a height field, we need like the height field noise, right? This does not look like a height field whatsoever. Do we have to set up this height field layer, which by the way, this doesn't just work. Do we have to do this and then set a height field transform with this set to 90 and then also this set to 500? Or is this negative 90? It was negative 90. That's right, negative 90. Okay, so wait, there are height field recipes? Where are the height field recipes at? Terrain. Terrain cobblestone. Oh, they're called terrain. That's why. Orient. Okay. All right. So we are doing it right. We were doing it right. Okay. So you really want to learn about Copernicus, then just jump into it. There's a lot to learn. This one's using the fractal sample too. This is Awesome. Anyways, as we discussed earlier, I'm going to say it again for Zach. When you drop down the height field node, there is a recipe for height field. This is abysmal. This is not acceptable. You should not just drop down a height field node that doesn't do a dang thing. This does nothing for us. It should drop down. If you drop down the height field, if this is how they want to do it, it needs to drop down these two nodes. I don't care what anybody says. It should drop down those two nodes. That is absurd. Do you know how long it took me to figure that out? Way too long. That's the answer. That is not intuitive at all. I didn't know there was these recipes, though. This is interesting. I forgot. This is a new node, too. The cell pattern. So, wait. What is... Very interesting. Set to maximum. Well, I guess they would be on top. Okay. Interesting. Tile visualization. These are tileable too. Very cool. We're going to be able to create some nice tileable stuff using this fractal sample. I like it. I like it a lot. That gets really noisy, huh? Keep that on too. Oh, interesting. This is a really good example of how the fractal sample works. Uh-huh. So this controls like the number of like iterations, basically. Very cool. I like this node a lot. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. This is quite the height field, though. What's the other one? Terrain. Cobblestone. Oof, these are some... Wait, hold on. What? These are like the same thing. Did I drop down the same one? Sandy rock. I did. See what this shows. Oh yeah, this was the other one that they showed in the keynote. Height field strata. Very nice. Fractal noise. Oh, there's something else too. I didn't look at this earlier. Let me do a flow block to exemplify this. Actually, I've already got one up here. This is new as well. All right, so we've got this. Turn off this. This can be kind of annoying. All right, so we got our flow block, right? We've got our velocity. Kind of hard to tell what's going on here, right? Visualize velocity. What does this show us? Okay, that is not as helpful as I thought it was going to be. Not at all. Let's do this. Let's change this to a closed border. Now that's a little bit more helpful. This is pretty cool. I like this. I like this a lot. So that's the normal HSV. This is not helpful all that much. Although, ooh, that does give some kind of cool stuff. This gives some kind of like cool. There should be like a. Where's my like streak? Oh, ooh. This is going to be cool for some other things. Heck yeah. It's like flow lines almost. I like it. I like it a lot. Really turn those down. Yeah. That's cool. Visualize speed. Oh, ooh, that's awesome too. I like this. I just happened to notice I was reading through the documentation while I was at work, trying to not lose my mind as I was not able to play around with all the cool stuff that everyone else was playing with. Cool stuff though. I am definitely gonna have a lot of fun with all this new stuff. There's so much. Like, look at this. Hold on. This is the doc page for Copernicus for what's new. It just keeps freaking going, dude. Look at all of the stuff that was added or changed. Like, Cops got an entire rework. Like, this is nuts. This is, I haven't looked at the other pages, but this has got to be the biggest one. Like, so these are the new nodes, right? There's a lot of new nodes. Oh, hold on. There's one other one that we're gonna have to take a look at that I keep forgetting about. But look at all of these improvements are just like things that have been changed. This is like never ending. Like everything got added. Like everything got something added to it. There's so much that was added to Cops. But how could I forget? Let's take an SDF shape. Let's make it more interesting. Something, sure, we'll stick with this. Planar inflate. I can't believe I forgot about this until now. So, do we have to plug this into, we probably have to plug this into a preview material. Is there a, no, but it's not, man. Let's wire this into the height. And let's crank this up. Oh, hey, Zach, have you played around with the new color picker things, color harmony? Got all this stuff now. Not metalness, not specular. Right? The new color picker, it's so nice. Planar inflate. I've been waiting for this one too. There, I think it looks better. I think the wrinkles on their own look all that great, but once you add the mounds in, the mounds really kind of sell it, I feel like. I feel like you need to add maybe a little bit of blur. It's just an overall multiplier. Very cool. Oh. I'll go too high with that. Oh no. It's like a logarithmic increase. If you leave that on the normal default. Huh. So yeah, this takes an input SDF. So you can use any of the SDF nodes or make your own. Let's set this to a different one. Very cool. I like this a lot. Let's see. Before I do anything else, let's jump back. Where did that go? There we go. Let's jump back and look at the new features of cops. Oh yeah, there's another. There's a curl cop. Where'd that velocity go? There we are. Ooh. I like that. Let's not read pixels outside. Wish we could not have those edges coming in there, but yeah, I don't know why the edges got to come in. But this is cool. There's also a new curl noise and curl noise 3D. I guess these kind of go hand in hand, right? Curl. This is literally going to just create. Dude, they are totally gonna port over pops into cops. That's coming in 23. Guarantee it. Curl noise 3D. These are going to be used for something. Oh, okay. So rubber toy. And then attribute. Geometry attribute from layer. Bam. And then we would get like velocities from this. I feel like we can preview. Ooh, how do we preview? We can just do this. Oh. Okay, that's a bug. Toggles not working properly. These icons are all kind of different too. Sorry, I'm just trying to find visualizations. This should be Not a color, but a not marker. Yeah, vector trail. There we go. Let me actually scale those down. Bam. Something like that. Yeah, so we can do all sorts of stuff when cops now as far as like the attributes go. This is super cool. There's a lot that's coming to cops. They're gonna port like everything to cops. I guarantee it. Very cool stuff though. I like it. Crash your whole computer. That's no fun. Don't be doing that. I think I'm gonna hop off here though. It is getting pretty late. I am pretty tired and I was getting to get up in the morning and do stuff with 22, but I did this instead. I also skipped doing what I was supposed to do. You try to hook up your drawing tablet and then move my floating YouTube and Firefox. You'll have to let me know how the tablet works with the paint and cops. I'm curious. I have a tablet, but I don't know where my pen is at right now. Actually, I'm using my tablet as my second monitor. Yeah, I feel like a kid. Like, yeah. I've been just thinking about it all day, and then I'm burned right now. I've been going through this for a couple hours at this point, so I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna play around with it, and then I guess if there's stuff that you guys want to see, just hop in Discord and let me know, and I'll try to cover stuff that people want to see first on videos. I do have one other thing that I got to finish up with. Houdini 21 that I was going to do tonight, but I decided to hop on here and stream and look at some of the new stuff because I enjoy looking at the new stuff with everyone. But if you guys want to see some of the new stuff, you want to see me cover it first, let me know in Discord what you want to see covered first. But thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully you learned something new about 22. Hopefully I was able to answer some questions in here. I feel like we discovered a lot. I feel like we learned a lot, and we discovered that, first of all, height fields suck and they need to fix them. I'll probably submit an RFE for that because that is not it's not a good implementation for that. Just make it drop these two nodes down. They also stole my recipe. There's a shape node that drops down your SDF to mono. Your SDF shape node should have been in there from the start. Just saying. That was my idea. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. I will have some videos going up here as soon as I can get through everything, and we'll take a look at a bunch of the new stuff. I have not gone through any of the documentation other than the cops one, so I'm interested to see what else they have added. Should be fun. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Like I said, I will be streaming next Wednesday as well. We'll take a look at stuff on Wednesday, I think. I wasn't planning originally on streaming tonight, but I will probably stream next Wednesday, the 22nd, as well. I took that day off with anticipation that Houdini 22 is going to release somewhere around there. So I will do some stuff. If you guys want to see stuff, if you play with stuff between now and then and you have questions about things, then jump in my Discord and let me know. And that's some like the topics that we can cover in that stream. I think that should be fun. So thank you guys for hanging out. Get some sleep. Don't stay up too late playing with 22. And I will see you in the coming days. Have a good night, guys.